FAA, and today I thought I would talk about self-tanners. Now these are products that are specifically designed to give you a tanned golden look and to save you from going out into the sun and getting actually sun-damaging sun rays on your skin. So back in the, 1960s and 70s, it was a really big deal. I had bad acne and I was fish belly white. And having that tan really, it covered up my acne and it made me look so good. You know, on the sunny days I'd be out there with my baby oil and iodine on my space blanket, which was like this. Do you remember these? And when it was raining out, I would use a sun lamp. We had those individual, they look like a regular little desk lamp, but it was a special kind of light bulb in there that it's kind of like sun tanning bed kind of lighting, and equally as bad and damaging, if not worse. And I used to get terrible sunburns. And I have a whole slew of photographs of myself with bad sunburns over the years, and all of that attributed to my present day skin condition, which I have a lot of skin damage. Now, it was a big social thing back then to get together with your friends and just lay out in the sun and listen to your transistor radio. So the idea of self-tanners, people of my generation and a little older remember when they came out with a product called Bain de Soleil self-tanning gel. And this was something that they advertised so cool. I mean, you wanted to be this rich lady.
For the deep, dark color you want, Bain de Soleil. Bain de Soleil for the central face. Bain de Soleil for the deep, dark color you want, and the smooth, silky skin to go with it. Bain de Soleil for the central face. For people who can choose anything they want, and they choose the best.
Wasn't that Simon Le Bon's wife in that ad? She was like the Duran Duran girl. Anyway, I, of course, tried it, as well as most of the rest of us, and we all looked like orange beings from another planet. It never looked right. It stained our clothes. It was awful. And so when you think of self-tanners, a lot of us think of that and that bad experience we had. Well, I tell you, over the years, scientists have really perfected this, and they have products now that are unbelievable. They'll do everything from an instant paint job to make you look tan instantly to something that just develops slowly over time and you look like you're naturally getting a tan in slow motion, like you're really out there in the sun. So in modern day time, going out in the sun to get your suntan puts you out there exposed to dangerous types of rays, UVA, UVB, and UVC rays, which are extremely dangerous and damaging to your skin. It can cause skin cancer or aberrant cells that would develop into skin cancer. So you really don't want to go out in the sun unnecessarily, and you certainly don't want to bake like we did, little roast beefs out there in the sun. So before we go into all the different types of products, let's go into a little bit of the preparation in order to get a good color in an even tone. Now, sun tanning products grab hold of your top layer of skin only. They don't penetrate your skin, so they are just coloring the top layer of your skin. So you need to prepare your skin so that you have a smooth surface to grab onto. And every 28 days, our skin kind of naturally sloughs off that top layer, and that's why it can look patchy, because at different times of the month, your skin is in different phases of sloughing off. So what we want to do is kind of pre-slough off as much skin as possible so that when you put that suntan stuff on, it's going to grab onto more skin, being that top layer. So first thing you got to do is the day before, if you've got to shave arms or legs or face or anything else, do all your shaving the day before. If you wait until just before you put the sun tanning stuff on and you have just recently shaved, you'll get in those little holes, little follicles, you'll get dark spots, and you don't want that. It's kind of like do all that stuff the day before, and then it has a chance to kind of close up and be moisturized and everything, so that it won't latch on to those little holes. The next thing is you have to exfoliate. Now there's several ways you can do this. They have a lot of really good products out there. They have these exfoliating face cloths, or they have gloves that have this kind of scratchy stuff on them, so you can rub all over your body to get that excess skin off. Or you can even use a body brush, which is like a bristle brush. It's soft, and then you just brush it all over, and make sure you're brushing off that upper layer of skin, so that after you moisturize and everything else, when you put that suntan stuff on there, it's just going to look beautiful and smooth. If you don't exfoliate, you're going to find it looks very patchy, because it's grabbing on just the top layer of skin, and that other layer of skin below it, it doesn't really grab onto it. So you're going to find that it wears off patchy, it wears off quickly. The other thing to remember is that you want to moisturize especially your elbows, your knees, and the bottoms of your feet and sides of your feet. In between your fingers, there's a lot of places where it can gather and look really bad. So, application. Now this is fun. Application can be done with a mitt, and these things are, you can buy them, they're really cheap, $3 or $4 maybe. This one is a Bondi Sands one. I got this at Walgreens, and it's nice because it's a soft velour kind of feeling on the outside, and on the inside is kind of a plastic moisture-proof interior, so your hands don't get covered with all the gook when you're spreading the stuff on. When you are spreading something on, you're going to want to put it on and then circular motions in small areas, or you can use gloves, which these are great, these gloves. Now these are food service gloves, and what's nice about them is that they're very, very tight onto your hand. Almost like the stuff that the ladies put your hair color in with. It's very, very nice. I don't believe they're latex. And you put these on both of your hands, and then you can put the lotion on that and use, again, small motions, circular motions. To put it on, you really want to start from the lowest point and work upwards. Do your face, and then very last would you do your hands. So if you have the stuff in here and you spread it on your hand, you want to just, move in circular motions, a small little area. Make sure you get underneath. Now when you have like a bend in your arm, that's actually kind of a wrinkle. And any place where you think you're going to have a wrinkle, it's a good idea to put a little bit of powder in that area. So you just want to dust it with some powder after you put the suntan stuff there. So when you move your arm or close it in, you won't get a crease of line color in there, because it just kind of gathers. Different suntan products have different instructions, so read whatever is on the actual container. It'll tell you, what to do. Once you put it on, they'll say, okay, leave it on for 2 hours or 4 hours if you want a deeper color, or 6 hours if you want an even deeper color, or sleep on it overnight, and then the next morning you can rinse off the excess. When you are rinsing off any kind of tanning product, you can only use lukewarm water, no soap. You can't use any soap. It'll just rinse all of the product off. It is not on there stuck like glue. It is not staining that severely that it's not going to come off easily. And you'll see there's big brownish orange puddles in your shower when you're rinsing this stuff off. Pat dry with a towel. Do not ever, don't do one of these things. You really just want to pat down and then moisturize with a non-oil based moisturizer. Don't use a moisturizer that has like rosehip oil or cacao oil or coconut oil or anything like that. You just want a plain one. This one is good. This is the CeraVe, the daily moisturizing lotion. This works great, especially moisturize after you've done this. And don't wear clothes for the first couple of hours until it's really settled in. You really want to let it settle in without any pressure points.
Speaking of not wearing clothes, it's time to subscribe. You'll see this and wonders here on the Kathy A. Beauty Show.
Thanks, subscription guy.
We gotta get 15.
I know, we want to make it to 15,000. This is my goal. Yeah, I wear a light bathrobe over because I'm a little bit conservative, and I wear a light robe, and try not to sit on any furniture that could be stained. You can stain so easily. It's unbelievable how easy the stuff gets around and gets a staining if you have collars. Don't wear the pretty dress you're going to wear to the wedding or the graduation or the reunion or whatever. Don't wear that while you're still doing the tanning part. Once you're settled and the tanning stuff, excess is washed off, and you pat dry and you moisturize and you're set to go, then you can put your clothes on and, you know, do whatever you need to do. There are a lot of new types of sun tanner products, and I think these are amazing. So let's start off with something you're all familiar with. This is the Jergens Natural Glow, and this is it looks like a moisturizer. It just looks innocent enough like a moisturizer, and it has a developer within it. So you're going to put that on just like I said. You're going to put it on circular motions, little section at a time, and always wash your hands after you finish doing this. And I'll talk about hands a little bit later, but this is a really nice little device. It does not show up right away. You don't have what they call a guide color, so you don't really know where you went and where you didn't, but it feels wet, so you do know where you've been and where you haven't been. But this is the sneaky kind that, especially in the cricks of your elbow and your knees and things like that, it shows up as patchy if you aren't careful with it. This is a very basic tanning product, and this is for the more conservative of you who don't want to take that leap and get a beautiful golden tan all right away. It's very subtle. You can build this up over, if you moisturize every day using this, you'll get a very nice, beautiful tan. I would suggest going with the medium rather than the light shade, because the light shade in a lot of these tanners is just slight. It's so slight that you don't even notice it, and it can actually get a green olive cast to it that isn't so flattering, especially when it wears down. So the Jergens Glow is very, very nice. There is also store brand versions of that kind of a moisturizer, and this one is, they have the Walmart Equate one, they have, CVS has their version, Suave makes a version. So don't be afraid to try, you know, the store brands. If you're on a budget, there's a lot more product for less money. It's a budget saving thing, and if you're going subtle, this kind of thing would work really well for you. They're all basically made out of the same kind of stuff, so you don't have to worry about, if you're going cheap with this, you don't have to worry about, you know, looking awful. And that orange cast that we used to get from the Bain de Soleil, the new kind of tan that they're coming out with is more olivey with a green cast or red and violet cast. So it's not orange. Those things are no longer, that's kind of, you can feel fairly confident that almost any sun tanning product out there is going to make you look more of an olive tone rather than orange. And now another type of product to use is this one, and this is the Micro Mist. Now this is a spray, and these feel very nice. It feels like a nice spritz of light water or setting spray, you know, makeup setting spray. But these you have to be awfully careful with, because if you spray them, I'm just going to show you. If you spray them around, you're going to get them. You're going to get them all over the place, and they wind up, you know, there's a lot on here. They tend to be neater looking for that. There's quite a scent to them. There's a lot of alcohol in the propellant of these. When they dry down, they're really beautiful, but you can't do a lot of detail. They do get all over the place. If you have furniture, clothes, a wall behind you, I would suggest doing something like these mist ones. in the shower stall or place where you can clean it up later, because this will turn color later, and where you didn't see it at all now on this thing, it will turn brown later. So you just have to be careful when you're using these, because they are staining, a little bit staining capacity to them. Now you can rinse off a lot of this stuff, you can wash off a lot of this stuff with strong soap and water, and some exfoliation creams, things like that will take them off. If you have patches, there's really cool ways to get over the patch. This one is the St. Moritz. This is the wash-off tan. And what this is literally, it's a tan. It looks so gross when it comes out. You're like, oh my God, what am I doing here? I'm just going to take a Kleenex to spread this out. But when you spread it out, you're going to see it actually looks quite nice when it's spread out. Now make sure you go between your fingers. This is actually more of a spray paint. This is more of a paint lotion on there. Now I just put that on. It was a very dark, yucky color, but spreading it out, once this dries, and this takes a couple of minutes to dry, you've got a painted on tan. Now this is really good if you've got a patchy area and you need touched up right away. You can just put a teeny bit of this on there and rub it on there, and you've got your patch. So it's a really nice one, I think, but it is a wash-off tan. So if you go to the restroom and you wash your hands, this part will probably be white from the washing your hands. You'll have to reapply that. So, and this is what it looks like, you know, with that's the color. So it is a really cool item if you need an emergency tan that you're going to rinse off at the end of the night, or if you're just having a photo taken, maybe your graduation photo, or you're having a anniversary shot or a family portrait done, maybe wedding photos. This is great for something like that, and I think there's only one shade. This is the matte shade. Now there are tanning types of products for people with deeper and richer skin tones. A lot of folks who have deeper, richer skin tones have like different pigmentation problems and things like that, so they want to maybe smooth out that look. You can use things like this to smooth out that look and then put makeup over the top. One of the most popular types of suntan lotions is this one. This is the Sublime Bronze. They have a milk, they have a cream lotion, they have a spray-on. They all work kind of the same way. You've got a blob of stuff, and when you put it on, I just want to show you this particular one. This one's got a lot of glitter in it. You can see that. It's got a lot of glitter. Anyway, you're going to rub that in. And this one, the scent to some of these is better in some than others. Some are coconut, some are vanilla. You know, some of the more expensive ones are. There are some that are green, some that are cruelty-free, some that are organic only. You can find literally everything. Just look at your labels, read the reviews. I look on Ulta and read the reviews for any product. I also will look at Sephora. They have a lot of green products there. I'm going to show you some products that I would recommend. And I have many types of sun tanning things I've tried over the years, and some have worked better than others for me. But it's really up to you. It's a personal choice how you feel. Now, I know you remember these. This is the Sally Hansen airbrush legs. Now, these are, I know a lot of you put them on your legs and you may or may not like them, but did you know put them on your hand. You can put them and patch up an area. You can put them on your hand, you can put them on your arm, you can put them anywhere on your body. And in fact, this brand, the Sally Hansen Airbrush Legs, actually now has a lotion form of this that you can use on the rest of your body. So if you want to patch up an area, maybe the tops of your fingers didn't work out well, or there's a patch of white here, you can use this on its own. And you don't have to spray it on. You can spray it into your hand, and then you can put it where you want it. You know, you just put it where you want it. One of the coolest things I have seen is this, and this is the Tannologist drops. They're clear drops, and what it is you put your moisturizer, and you're going to use, I would say, at least 2 tablespoons for your body. And then you take this, and they say you can alter how dark and deep your tan is by how many drops of this you put into your moisturizer. You have to mix it with a moisturizer. You can find this in Target. And let me just, so you can see that. So you do that, and then I mix it with a Q-tip right in the little tray. Just mix it all together, and you've made your own custom moisturizing lotion sun tanner. So it's basically a customized version of this. You've made your own custom version and your own strength. If you want a really strong, dark, deep color, and this comes in a light, a medium, and a dark shade range, I would suggest you do at least the medium or the dark, because I have the light, and I found it wasn't quite deep enough for me. It was more of an olivey color, and I wanted more of a tan color. So once you have that mixed up, you just apply it like you would any other of the sun tanning things. Now, getting to your back, you may want to put some of this on your back. I would put this on the actual wand here. This is a lotion wand. And then you basically would put this, rub this right around in circular motions on your back. So you don't need another person to do your suntan lotion stuff. You can also use this with regular moisturizer and things like that. But I just wanted to show you there's so many options for application. Okay, so you've done your whole body and you've done your face. Now you want to do your hands, and they're covered with gloves, so how are you going to do that? Okay, first thing you do, let's just put some on here. Okay, so I've got this on here, so the first thing I'm going to do is take this glove off. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to rub it into the hands with this glove, getting it in between. And then I put the excess of my arm. Now, if you want to do a couple of coats, it is better to wait a couple of hours so that this is cured a little bit before you put that next layer on. So I wouldn't put a layer on and while it was still wet, put another layer over the top. You really don't want to do that because the way it develops, it'll mess it up. So I make sure that you've got evenly spaced on the hands. And what I do is I will run this over a tissue or a face cloth to get any excess off the inside. Now for this inside part, taking the glove off, and I'm going to put the product on a cotton ball or a Kleenex. And I'm going to use my hand to put this on that way with the Kleenex. And that way you've got both hands done without messing up too much or getting too much on the hand that's doing the actual application. And then I like to rub this on either a face cloth that I have specifically for suntan stuff. Now make sure when you're looking around you don't see any little pieces of, like sometimes you'll see a little swipe like this. You really want to look for things like that and make sure it's blended in, because that will make a line. See that? So I'm going to tap that in. You want to make sure you have everything evenly done. Let yourself sit for 2 hours at least, and then if you want to add another coat, go ahead and do so. Everything works slightly differently, so you're going to want to follow the directions on the packaging. I think that's the best advice I can give you. But if you want the best of the tan that you get from your application, stay the longest time with it before you rinse off the excess, or the guide color as they call it. Make sure you do your ears so that they are the same color as your face. Now when you're doing your normal skincare, you maybe have a special facial cleanser you use, maybe use an exfoliator, maybe you use a serum, maybe you use something else. If you do that routine, you're going to take all of the tanning stuff off, or at least the upper layer of it, so you're going to need to reapply on your face. Now, one of the biggest cons that I found was that as soon as I did this tanning thing, and I mean I really got, you know, some great color. One thing I noticed right away as an older woman, all of my age spots were exaggerated, and I found more freckles and age spots than I've ever thought I've had. I mean, just unbelievable. I'm like, where did all these come from? I don't remember being that freckled, and they will darken all of your age spots. So if you are a woman who's over 50 and has these age spots, you don't even normally notice them, you're going to see them. They really come out very strong. So that's a definite con. The other thing is it affects your makeup. If you have foundations you love to use and there's a certain shade that's your shade that you match to yourself when you don't have a tan, you're going to need to darken your foundations. So the easy way to do this, I will take a bit of my foundation, enough to cover my face, and then I will add one of these darkening drops. Now, LA Girl has them, Ulta has them, Smashbox has them. I think most companies do have some kind of variant of this, or you can use a darker shade foundation, but you basically put a few drops in and you mix it. I mix it with a toothpick. I'll mix it with a toothpick, and it makes a darker shade out of your makeup without really affecting the formulation. And then what I'll do is I'll try a little bit on the side of my face to see if it matches my new tan. And I'll just add a little bit more. You can add this kind, or this kind is the Ulta one. You can add a little bit more of that or the darker shade foundation until you get a shade that matches. And then I just make a little bit up and keep it in a separate little jar or container. Just put that in there. And it works really well because it will affect how your makeup looks. You don't want a white face and a dark body. You definitely want to adjust your makeup to look like it without having to go and buy everything again. Some people buy a couple different shades of makeup to cover their winter and summer. I don't like to do that. It's not very cost effective. Now let's just put that one. That one looks good. See, it blends right in. So I'm going to keep that, and what I'll do is make a batch of this in this color, and I'll keep it in a little container, and I'll use that for my makeup. The Laura Geller Balance and Brighten, I would normally be a light or fair in this. I'm a medium when I have a tan, and this works really nicely. You can also use like a darker shade of makeup than you normally would. Cheapy one, I use the Wet n Wild Photo Focus in a darker shade. This is 2 shades darker than my normal skin tone. It works really nicely. If you can't quite get the right shade, you can use bronzers. This one is one of my favorites from The Balm. Just use a bronzer. Stick that there, right around. You know, and you can get basically a subtle color, plus it's kind of like powdering down your makeup as well. So you can get a really nice look from your makeup, and it'll blend nicely with your neck. I always take it down the neck so that it's at least there, and then into the décolleté if I've got a lot of skin showing in that particular top. So this works really well. Also the butter bronzer works nicely, and this one has a slight glow to it from Physicians Formula. This is a really nice one, so you want to have, because you don't want too much difference between your face and your body when you have a tan. So, and these things can control a lot of ills. If you don't like the way your skin looks with the sun tanning stuff on it, your makeup will certainly help there. It'll cover it up really nicely. So the pros, it makes you look and feel a little bit healthier, and you have a kind of a radiance, a glow, you look healthy. I think it also can make you look slightly thinner. It's just a very, very nice look, and it's seasonal. It's just for a few months. I think it's worth it. I think the look of having a light golden tan is well worth this kind of trouble, so to speak. And there are so many different types of products. If you don't like the way one goes on, you could try something else. And then if you need to patch up, they have these paint-on things that they rinse off after one day. If you just want one day for a photograph or whatever, and then you want to rinse it off, you can use this, and then you're back to your normal pale stuff. Now, I'm not pale face shaming here. If you have pale skin, rock it. You know, rock it. You don't have to get a tan. I prefer one. I've always enjoyed having a tan, and it's been like my disco days. It was a lot of fun to have a tan, so I think that those were the, you know, that's when it really showed it up, is when you had a really pretty sleeveless dress on and were dancing. You know, it just looked really nice. The cons is it's kind of expensive to keep it up. You have to do it once every day for the first week, and then a couple of times a week after that to maintain that look, because your skin's sloughing itself off. You need to reapply it on the new skin. So you're going to have to keep doing it, and I think that's kind of a con. It's kind of a drag to do that. It's not as severe as the first week that you do it, but after that, again, and your face is going to have to be redone all the time, and your neck. Also, I noticed too, as another con, if you have a lot of deep lines in your neck, it makes stripes. So be careful with that. Make sure you powder. If you do the tanning stuff over your neck, make sure you powder over those stripes so that it doesn't sink into the creases and make brown lines when it dries. So that was another thing I forgot to mention earlier. The other con is you get maybe 5 applications out of a bottle. If you're using a bottle of this size container, probably give you maybe 5 full body uses. So if you figure this is about 13 bucks, you know, you're gonna have to spend this like every week, like 13 bucks. Something like this, the drops in your own moisturizer, I think this is a much more economical way to go. And they do have different variants of this. There's lots of different brands that carry these kinds of things. Just read the labels on them and you will be very, very happy. So you're going to take lukewarm showers, don't take hot showers. That's another thing that's kind of bad. And I think you're going to like it. You can take stronger colors. You're going to find that you can take a stronger color lipstick, a stronger color blush, stronger eye makeup. I mean, it's really something. It kind of dominoes all through your routine for your appearance. I think it makes people look better. I think it makes them look healthier. So whatever you decide to do, I wish you all the best on this journey with self-tanners, and I'm going to show you a bunch of them. I have a bunch listed below of tanners that I would recommend, and each type. There's mists, there's oils, there's even a dry oil, there's lotions, there's some that work instantly, there's some that take an hour or two to work off, there's some that you wash off and some you don't, there's mousses, there's just a lot of different types. So I've divided them all into categories below. Click on them and have a look and see if there's anything there that you like, and next time you're in the store you can just grab one or whatever, but don't be afraid. The land of Oompa Loompas is no more. The modern day tanners are quite impressive and far more sophisticated than anything we could dream of back then. And it's a much safer way to tan. So I hope you heed my advice. Wear your sunscreen and have a beautiful day. Take care. Toodles.